I'm done trying to live up to others' expectations. Family, society, class, race, sex, or religions. It's time to break free from the isms that make us feel like we're in prison. I'm ready to be unleashed as fuck. I'm ready to be unleashed as fuck. Tired of the madness, done with the sadness. Gonna break free and be unleashed.
Yay! Hey, and welcome to another empowering episode of Unleashed AF, the podcast where we help you to step into your greatness, show your authentic self. I'm your host, Deidre Beecham. And alongside me is the incredible Jenny Badig, the inner space engineer. For those of you who are new here, I'm Deidre, visibility catalyst. Dedicated to helping high-achieving women like you break free from nice girl training and embrace your power voice. Jenny, my amazing co-host, she brings her unique expertise as a hypnotherapist and former engineer to help you reprogram your mindset and unleash your true potential.
That's right. And today we're continuing our special June series on the pod featuring powerful coming out stories. Anyone who steps into their truth and lives it is courageous. So these coming out stories break down societal leashes and offer insights into the challenges and triumphs of living authentically.
And as always, we love hearing from you. So please don't hesitate to drop any comments or thoughts that you have, questions, concerns, ideas. We'd love to hear from you. Let's make this fun and dynamic. We also have a section on our website. If you do have a topic that you want us to address in one of the upcoming months, please go to the section called WWJDD, stands for What Would Jenny and Deidre Do? Or you could be a guest on our podcast. Go ahead and fill out an application on our website, unleashedafpodcast.com.
That's right. And without further ado, let me introduce today's guest. Today we have Justin Cerconi, who has been active with the LGBTQIA community on the Space Coast of Florida. So for those of you not in this area, Central Florida, East Coast is called the Space Coast. That's where all the launches happen for NASA typically. And so he's been involved with that for the past 5 years and is currently president of Space Coast Pride. In addition to being active with Space Coast Pride, he also is an avid car guy and an avid traveler. He has been so many places. I can't even tell you. He's multilingual. He takes his passions with him wherever he goes. So welcome, Justin.
Hey. Happy Pride Month.
That's right.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here with us.
We're so glad that you're willing to be here. And we're looking forward to hearing your story. So just another little tidbit of background. I've known Justin for, over 10 years for sure. Probably closer to 20 years. Right?
Wow.
When did you get to the Space Coast? Because I've been in Florida 20 years now, and I moved.
Yeah, I moved here in 96.
Okay, so yeah, I bet it's been like 18.
It's been at least 15, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because I've been gone from Harris for 10 years, and I worked with you at Harris for probably a good 5 years at least before that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we did the arthritis walk stuff together. So
yeah,
so we've known each other inside and outside of work. And Justin's been a great friend over the years. I'm glad that we've kept in touch. And I'm looking forward to actually hearing, I don't think I've ever heard you tell the story behind how you came out. And so I'm looking forward to hearing this. I want to hear from your perspective what this was about for you.
Yeah, I definitely. It's kind of funny and not even related to being on today. I've told this story because people have asked me like 3 times in the past month. It's just really random, and I have not told the story many times in my life. So it's been kind of in the forefront of my mind, thinking about it. It's pretty recent, so despite my mind being foggy most of the time, I still can remember most of the details. So yeah, it's I can jump in and kind of share now, or
yeah, go ahead. So How old were you? When? What happened?
Yeah.
Tell us a story.
So I only came out about 12 years ago. So I was I think I was 39 still, but I usually say I was in my 40s. I had just kind of been struggling with it for a while, and I didn't know how to do it, but I was chatting.
Struggling with your own sexuality, or struggling with coming out?
No,
What
struggling
was
with
going
coming
on?
out. So
Okay.
I knew from, I don't know how, like I say 6 years old or 7 years old most of the time, that I was gay. Like I just started realizing, like, you know, uh, just being attracted to guys. And then definitely when I went to away summer camp, that was my counselor. Jim was his name. Yeah, that definitely confirmed it. I was like, yeah, definitely would rather be with Jim than Mary. It's very, very, very clear, especially when we were in the showers. Yeah. So yeah, I knew for most of my life, which made it worse. I kind of didn't think that it would go too well with my parents, mostly with my dad, and then also originally I was born in Chicago and lived there until I was 8, and then we moved to a really small town, and so it was truly, truly. Big fish, little pond. So to give you an idea of how big fish, little pond it was, when we moved into town, we moved there because it was a town of 2,800 people in central Illinois. And my dad was going to be the first family doctor there that they had had in 17 years. When we got the town was at our new home that we had just bought and were moving into, having a pig roast. Like we got there and there was like full on party happening already. We pull up in moving trucks and what have you. And so yeah, and we always say, if anyone's from a small town, that news can get to the other side of town before you can, and it is absolutely the truth. And so small town, mid-America, not the best place to come out. And then I decided to go to a small college too on the East Coast, which was, although it was a liberal school, it was a conservative one. So I just didn't feel comfortable doing it then either. So I just kept on going, and I think definitely thought many times during my life, because there were 40 years of it I had to think about. I often thought maybe I'll just meet a woman and have kids and just pretend. I mean, I'm a pretty good actor, so I thought I could do it, and then it all kind of came to a head at one point when I was, decided. I kind of fell in love with someone, even though the person didn't know it. And I was like, I realized if I don't come out, then I'm never going to be able to tell a person that I fall in love with that I'm in love with them. So, well, that will be kind of crappy. And even though I haven't since I came out, in my mind, I was like, it's going to happen like that as soon as I come out.
Right.
That amazing guy is going to come down from the sky. So anyway, so maybe that will happen sometime. But so anyway, that's what made me kind of decide I really need to do this. And I definitely felt like a lot of people knew, just because of, well, one, I never had a girlfriend, and two, I never dated anyone, and I wasn't in the closet. This is kind of oversharing, but I wasn't like sleeping around with guys. I just was celibate.
Right.
And it kind of, I guess that was another reason that I thought, well, this would be nice, to have this other benefit. Uh, and so finally, it all came to a head one time when I was before we had Messenger on the phone. I guess like I don't. It feels like we did 12 years ago, but maybe not. But I was on the computer on Messenger with a friend, and I was just like, I'm just going to commit to it, so I have to say it. And I said, I typed to her, I have to tell you something. And she said she was definitely one that I was like, okay, she knows, even though I think she had asked me, and I said no.
Yeah.
But she wrote what question mark question mark question mark question mark, and I don't know, like I mean we're close, so maybe she just had an idea of the way I was acting or something.
Yeah.
And then I just typed it, and I looked at it, and I just typed I am gay, and I was like, that's gonna get the message across, I think. So so I typed it and looked at it for a little bit, and then I hit send, and the rest was history. So when
what
I
was
did
her reaction? Yeah.
Oh, she was like, yay, thrilled and happy that I shared it, and she said I knew.
Now, and here's the interesting thing: you probably still had butterflies in your stomach, even though you knew that she probably knew.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh,
right?
That's why I had to look at it.
It feels like death.
Yeah, that's why I like looked at it on the screen, and like it's kind of a change that you are going to adapt to for the rest of your life, basically. So it's a kind of a different person, even though I am the same person, but especially in Florida.
It's interesting because I think we do talk about it that way, right? We do talk about it that way. Like I know that I had to, figure out who I was when I came out. But I think what's really interesting is that we've always been that. We've actually been performing before the coming out, right? The performance is before that. That's all the performance. Yeah. We've been performing our whole lives. Until we come out, it's a performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's learning how to be ourselves. And that's the trick.
Yeah, that's very true. And I definitely would say, I'm still growing as myself to this day. And it kind of, is very opening and kind of set me free to kind of feel and be who I had been all those years. Because I highly value family and friends. Like they're very important to me. And I really feel like I usually go above and beyond in friendships and family relationships. And I wanted to, as soon as I was going to be open to myself and let it out, to this one person, I wanted everyone that I cared about to know. So I started a diary. So I started writing every day, and I made it a vow to tell one person that I cared about every day until I had told everyone that I, wanted to know, from me.
Yeah.
And so lots of them, were just like, we knew, and, they were excited, and, some of them were like, why is he asking to talk to me? And so forth. So it was definitely interesting. I'm glad I journaled through most of it. I should still journal now because it was such a great feeling to do that and to go back and read it, because it's, even though you think you remember what was going on, you definitely don't remember everything. So definitely something I should start doing again. And so yeah, I just kind of made an effort to tell people, and almost everyone took it the way I thought they would, which for the most part was really good. And it felt good. It was nice to be out. And so then the big change, because you're out to your friends, but I was the same for the most part to everyone that I was before. but I was traveling. It was, gosh, I guess like 2014. So, now several years later, and I was traveling and I was working in Alaska, and I was staying in a hotel downtown, and I found out that they were having Pride. So I decided, I was like, no one's gonna know me, because I still wasn't, like,
Yeah, because it's still new.
wasn't
It's still
weird.
new. Being yourself is still new.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna go. So I went to Pride, and it was small. It was in Anchorage, and it's not a big Pride in comparison to some, but it was amazing. And I was just taken aback of how good it felt to be there, and how everyone was happy and welcoming and didn't care who I was, short, tall, fat, thin. It's like,
it's a wonderfully accepting community.
Not wearing much, whatever you were doing, they didn't care. They were just happy you were there, and wanted to have a good time, and wanted you to have a good time. And it was just an incredible time, the time there at Pride. And then I just kind of was on a high for a while after that, and that's kind of what made me eventually get involved in Pride here. So it's like I need to experience that.
My very first Pride was Space Coast Pride. That was my
very cool
Pride event, and it was small, but it's much bigger now. At least it was last time I went.
Yeah,
and boy, it was a blast. It was the first time I felt like I could be completely free to be myself in public.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling.
Yeah, completely free, and know that no one is gonna make any comments, look at you funny, like just want to give you a hug, if anything. So yeah. And speaking of Space Coast Pride,
there you go.
One of my favorite designs.
Is that this year's design, or is it a previous one?
2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of go with the decades now. So this year is going to be an 80s design, and we're just going to be wrapping that up soon. So yeah, to Space Coast Pride. So I think Jenny mentioned in the intro, I'm the president of Space Coast Pride, and I have been for a little bit now. And Pride is probably bigger than when you were here. Last year we had around 23,000 people attend Pride.
Yeah, I went to last year's.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and it was large, and I love the new music stages that were around. It was awesome.
Yeah. We even had a LED screen in the background of the stage last year. It was really fun.
So I know the June thing that you guys just did, the Rainbow Run, was at Wickham Park, right?
Yeah.
Are you still doing the Pride in September at O'Galley, or are you doing that at Wickham now too?
It's downtown.
Oh, downtown. That's right. It moved downtown.
We close off the entire downtown for it now. This is going to be our third year downtown, and we're all the way from like the railroad tracks down to the post office, with some side streets in there too.
Oh, that is fantastic.
It's just a blast. 2 stages, and we're always trying to come up with new stuff to do. We just had our board meeting last night, and one of the things that we might do is have a blood truck there this year. Because they're constantly in shortage of blood. So we might be having one blood there, which would be really nice for them, because the standards changed for that. Used to, if you were gay, you pretty much could not give blood.
Could not donate.
That's not true anymore. Even if you have HIV now, you're able to give blood under certain circumstances. So so that's, we're always trying to add stuff to it, and entertainment, and do all sorts of fun stuff. And as you mentioned, Jenny, just last Saturday, so less than a week ago, we had our Rainbow Run in Wickham Park, and we had about 400 runners for that even. And that's just a fun morning, even though it's warm. And we used to do that before the festival in September, but we really wanted to have a big event in
Pride
Pride.
Month.
So we
Yeah.
moved it to June, and we figured, you know what, joggers are going to sweat anyways, so why not just make it warmer for them?
Freaking Florida. I mean, if you're going to run
Yeah,
anywhere in
a
Florida,
little
it's going
brutal.
to sweat.
No,
Brutal.
just sucking it up a little bit more, sweating a little bit more, and so yeah, we put it in June. We started 7:30, so we're like, yeah, we'll try and get the sun. But it was a great morning. It was a little overcast, which was really nice, and a great turnout. Everyone had a wonderful time, and
Awesome.
it's just fun. So yeah.
Now I know you probably. I'm sorry.
Well, I wanted to ask a couple things. There's several things I wanted to ask you about Space Coast Pride and some of the things that you guys have been working on and dealing with. But before we kind of shift to more of that talk, I was curious. You mentioned it was the toughest probably was coming out to your dad.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
what was it? Was it just your dynamic, your relationship, or do you think him being a doctor or him being Latino or like?
Yeah, I
what
think
about
like
dad was difficult?
raised evangelical and probably, I mean, Latino to a certain extent, and just his personality, I knew it was not gonna go well, and I was right. Not that I'm always right, but
Are things better now?
Yeah, so things are much better now,
good.
and we actually have a really nice relationship now, which is nice, and I appreciate it. And it was even a little rough for my mom. She told me that, you know, because she had asked me a couple times in my life, not regularly, but a couple times, if I was gay, and I had said no, and which was a flat out lie, because like I said, I knew always pretty much, but I just didn't want to come out. So she felt like I was a different person, which you know, I had to tell her, no, same person, you know, just something I hadn't shared. So like, I'm not changing as a person. So yeah. And fortunately, she is a priest in an Episcopal church, which the Episcopalians are very accepting.
Yes.
One of the many churches, or one of the few churches you can go to. And, you know, I just saw something totally not even from an Episcopalian posted, where they were traveling somewhere, and there was a Episcopal church, and they had a huge pride flag out front.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, oh, that's funny. I was like, he's not Episcopalian, so he wasn't like searching that out. He just saw it in a town he was going through. I was like, yeah, Episcopalians. And if anyone doesn't know Episcopalian, it's kind of like Catholic, but Catholic light, much more liberal.
It's much more Catholic light.
Yeah, and we like wine a lot more. So yeah, everything, you know, worked out in the end. And I mean, honestly, I think probably the relationship with my dad got stronger from it, because it, you know, he had to grow in order to accept me. So yeah, I think, you know, in the end, it's, I mean, yeah, right, that's a good thing, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, overall it's a good thing, except Mr. Right didn't come down from the clouds.
Yeah,
expected.
He's still out there. Yeah, that's why I watch the launches all the time. He's gonna fall off a rocket. A rocket man.
Good example.
So I had a quick question. It could turn into a really big question, but it doesn't need to be.
Okay.
But you know, when we left in December, you know, there was a lot going on with book bans and the Don't Say Gay bill and DeSantis and just the oppressive politics. So how are you finding, are you finding that the community is on edge, or do you think that they're not on edge, or are you finding different ways inside of the community to help with that? What's going on?
Yeah, so one of the things that's important to say regarding Space Coast Pride is that we are a 501c3, so we can't be political. So
Gotcha.
we definitely, that's definitely something that we shy away from, unfortunately. Me, Justin Cerconi, I can be a little bit, so I try to stay a little bit active as far as all of that. But Space Coast Pride does try and create an atmosphere, a surrounding, a support of, having a place for people to go and be themselves and know that there's community and that we're here and we're always open to to do more and do better, and which is kind of incredible, I'll say, for because the board is entirely volunteer. So everything we do, putting on a festival for 23,000 people when you have all volunteers is kind of incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And so we definitely feel it still. We do stay on top of it because it's important, right, to what our organization does.
Sure.
So we do make sure that someone is always following with what's going on in politics, not only in the country, but of course Florida too, as Florida is worse than the country. And we do try, and one of the things that we started doing last year was just a regular happy hour, and that was just so the community had some place every month that they could come and hang out and just be with people that are going to be in a place, because of course we make sure it's in a location that is welcoming and supportive,
Sure.
and then be with people that are going to be welcoming and supportive. And it's been really nice to have that. I try and go to most of them. They vary in size. They're not a huge, not hugely attended, and we move them all up and down the Space Coast. So you kind of do see in different, and from the different locations that we go to, all the businesses where we have them are very accepting. But of course, there's some areas that are more or less
Sure.
accepting. And so we see that as a big benefit, and people are really appreciating it. And then another thing that we do that we never expected to be such a great turnout is we have skate nights. So
Oh, really?
we have had multiple. I think we're on like our fourth or fifth one, and we've never had less than 100 people show up for that.
Holy
Um,
cow.
That's fantastic.
it's just a fun time. There's lots of kids come, which is really nice to see. The kids just there with their parents, especially because some of them are like too young to drive or to be out on their own, so the parents have to come with them, of course. And it's just really fun to see them just out having a good time. And we are going to continue to do that. We just announced actually our Pride Week activities. So we have all sorts of fun stuff lined up for that. And again, that's just so more people can find a time that they can come out and be with community, and know that there are tons and tons of loving people and supportive people in the area, even if they don't see that with all the laws and legislature and nasty politicians that have so much crappy things to say. That there are a lot of people that are out there that love them and just want people to be who they are. So we're doing everything from, we're changing our gala to the prom, and it's going to be an 80s theme. So we're Jenny, you need to come on out and celebrate with us for that. But we're doing
I want
a
pictures.
prom night at Hotel Melby, so it's going to be up in the ballroom on the top floor with the gorgeous view of Melbourne and the Intracoastal. And a beach day, pizza in the park in O'Galley, where we're going to have other businesses hopefully open so people can stroll around in the evening and have music in the park. And other events with board and brush and painting with the twist downtown. A skate night, like I said, at Galaxy Skate, and gosh, I can't even remember everything else. Oh, definitely, we're going to have sex ed trivia in downtown business somewhere. We're confirming that, so I can't say the name yet. And we're even hoping to have a church service the Sunday after. So the Pride Fest and Parade is on a Saturday, the 28th. So we're going to try and have a church and maybe even get a rabbi that I met to participate in it. So we're going to have and then drag brunch too on Sunday, of course. Like there's drag brunch the day after. So you got
I'm putting your website up there.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Pride.org, so that everybody, if there's anything that you haven't mentioned and people want to know more, or even forget some of the dates of some of the things that you said, you can go to spacecoastpride.org and get all the information they need.
Yeah. Or you can follow. I see this stuff all the time because I follow on Facebook and Instagram, and they're always putting in their stories when there's events coming up and things like that. Now, are you guys also, is PFLAG through Space Coast Pride too? Are they?
No, but they're not through us, but we are very supportive. So anytime that they're having an event and they need something, we always try and donate whatever it is, whether in kind or monetary contribution if we can. But yeah, PFLAG does great work. I think that's part of the reason why we usually have such a good turnout for skate nights, because PFLAG will usually show that we're going to be doing that. So yeah, another great group of people over at PFLAG that work with the community, and so many people rely on PFLAG for support. It's really great. We're gonna a person just reached out to us about starting a LGBT QIA bereavement group. So we are going to be trying to start to publish that, and hopefully that can get started, which is, definitely something that could be helpful and used for the community here.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how many different things we've got going on all the time. And
well, and didn't you just recently announce either the applications were open or you've just recently awarded scholarships?
Yeah. So we do an annual scholarship, and we just awarded that to one of lucky recipient.
Now, is that something that is common with different Pride organizations, or is that something you guys came up with?
So when we did it, we hadn't seen it, but now I've seen several, and I'm not saying that we started it because
go ahead.
Just type it in the messenger; it'll make it true.
They're not even local, but yeah, when we did it, we were really excited about it, and it's continued, and we hope it continues to grow too. But yeah, we do it every year. It's a great. We're always trying to think of new things to support kids, because it's so much harder for them, especially being in Florida. I just hear some of the stories that kids have to deal with, and lots of times, actually, it's several of the stories have come from our scholarship winners, because we do, obviously they have to do a write-up, and we interview them all, and they share some of the stories of what they've had to deal with in the schools, and it's just truly, truly heartbreaking to hear what they go through. So anything that we can do to support the kids in the area is always something that we want to do. We're also, I'm gonna, before I forget this, because it should be really fun, they're doing a light up the causeway on the Melbourne Causeway on the 29th, I want to say, but that should be really, really fun event. So we'll be out there. We're going to start sharing and hopefully get some people. So people are going to carry colored flashlights, and it was done in Jacksonville, and going to march over the causeway and hold the flashlights and light up the causeway in pride colors. So this should be a really fun night. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, because it's funny you mentioned that, because I thought I just saw something recently about legislation, I believe, that said that or cities, I guess, or whoever organizations are not allowed to use anything other than red, white, and blue lights
Yeah.
for things like bridges and causeways now. And I
Yeah.
thought, come on, like it's just ridiculous. Like, so how many are there other things like that that you've run into in terms of like when you moved from O'Galley down to downtown Melbourne? Was there pushback
Yeah,
from?
there was definitely a little pushback, but also we were at the same time surprised with some of the businesses that reached out and said, "Hey, we're so like happy to have you down here." And when there's so much crap that we do deal with, but there's also these things that just kind of lift you up and
Mm,
help you carry through and make you realize why you do what you do. And it's little things like that that you would never know. Or hearing like that someone met at the festival and they got married, and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just so many little stories like that that really warm our hearts, and that's why we do what we do.
Well, and I would think even some of the stuff that you probably don't hear directly, but I think it probably still makes an impact is just not only the people that come to Pride and get to see how welcomed they are or how accepted they are, but the people that aren't that used to it, that are still uncomfortable with it, the more they can see it, the more it becomes normalized and the
Yeah,
less they hate it. Like the less they have against it because it starts to feel more comfortable and okay. So it's even important from that perspective, I think,
yeah,
that more of these events happen and they get more used to seeing it. I
yeah,
mean, there's still pushback. People are like, "Oh, rainbow flag, it should only be the American flag or whatever." Like, get over yourself.
yeah,
But, the more it becomes normal, even things, obviously things that are seen on TV that never used to be on TV start to become more normal. It starts to become more accepted. And that's, I think, when you get less and less of the masses, I guess. There's still going to be conservatives that have their belief systems that they don't want to let go of. But people just in general, I think if they haven't seen it to know it, it just feels uncomfortable because they just don't understand. So the more it's out there for people to see, I think the better, in my
yeah.
opinion.
I agree, and having it downtown is a good thing because it's more visible. We
Yep.
loved having it in Galley, but we were out of space. Unfortunately, is why we had to
Yeah.
move to Galley.
Yeah.
And yeah, and anyone who says anything bad about a Pride festival has never gone to one, and probably
Right.
never will, for that matter. And it's their loss, really,
It is.
because we're all so freaking nice there and loving that even if someone was a
Yeah.
hater, we would.
My mom and stepfather go every year to San Francisco
Oh
uh,
wow,
to go
yeah,
to the Pride Parade, and neither one of them, they're allies, but they
yeah,
just absolutely love going. They
yeah.
love the
I mean, I
feeling,
don't
love
know
everything about it.
how anyone could go and not have a great time. I mean, it's
Yeah, I don't know.
just impossible, I think, to not have a good time. I'm actually really excited because most of the prides I go to, I am going as Justin Cerconi, president of Space Coast Pride, and having a booth there. But tying in my other thing that was in my intro was cars. So I'm going to my Saab owners convention in next month, and it's in Portland, Oregon. And I've never been there for one, in the Northwest, which is very odd when I'm talking to people that know me and they're like, "You've never been to
I know. I'm shocked.
no Singapore, yeah, but I haven't been to the Northwest."
Amsterdam, like,
Yeah. So anyways, I was on a Pride like board call. It's called USAP, Prides of the United States, and related to Interpride as well. So there's a whole bunch of us from different prides across the country, and one of the prides that had joined just because they had these people work with them for accessibility, ADA accessibility at their pride, was Portland Pride president, and they mentioned their dates just because they're coming up, and I was like, wait, I'm that's a weekend I'm in Portland.
Oh,
So
nice.
I
how fun.
get to go to Portland Pride, which, not only do I get to go as Justin, but I get to go and to a big pride and have a great time after being with cars for a few days. So
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm
And
so
no booth. You actually just get to go and enjoy it.
yeah, I get to just go
Yeah.
and enjoy. So I'm staying an extra day, so I have that Sunday to go and enjoy. And I even tried immediately as soon as I heard. I went to the parade page and I was like, I'm gonna sign us up and have like a bunch of sobs in the parade, but they were already sold out. So.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap up. I know that you had mentioned just a little while ago about how you're making a lot of effort to help the younger generation to feel comfortable and safe, and I think that goes to kind of your message that you wanted to get out, because we had asked you to fill out ahead of time what your bark is, or what it is, what message you wanted to get out as a result of your coming out story. So, and what would that be? What would you want to tell people?
So, I guess I just want to tell people to be their authentic self and be true to who you are. And I don't know what my life would be now if I had come out when I was 10, 14. I don't know that it would be better. I don't know that it would be worse. I know it would be different.
Yeah.
And I would have lived all of my life as the true person that I am. And I could have done different things maybe, but it would have been a different life. And it would have been a nice having that community that I've just we've all talked about for the last 40 minutes, being so accepting and having them around for all of that rest of my life that I missed out on would have been pretty incredible. So that's my message. Like, be true to yourself and help others. Like, we've got to help others. It's there's so much that we need to do, and I don't even just mean the LGBTQIA community. Yeah. I just mean like people need help. And if everyone just gave a little bit of time, you don't even have to just give money, just a little bit of time, we can change the world.
Yes.
And that's a message. That's a message.
That's a great message.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us today, Justin. It's really great, great to hear your story, and great to hear. It's always wonderful to hear when an adult steps into themselves as well, and that's awesome. Because it really is such a profound thing as an adult to go through that. I'm sure it is as a kid as well, but I don't have that experience. Mine was adult, so
yeah,
that was pretty profound for me. So.
Yep.
I loved hearing your story. So thank you so much.
Thank you both for having me on. I really appreciate it. And
I'm going to put your show up here one more time. Your website up here one more time. Spacepride.org.
Yeah. If you go there, if you go scroll, it should be a pop-up, but if not, scroll to the bottom and put your email in for our newsletter, because that is another great, we'll have a community corner on the bottom. So anything that is helpful to the community, we include there. So get our newsletter too. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you both so much. It's a great way to spend the afternoon.
Well, thank you for being here with us. If you can stay for the after show, then please hang on with us for a few minutes. But if you can't, we understand if you have to disappear. Or we're going to go.
Yeah, I have a few minutes to.
All right, awesome. We're going to take you out of the studio for the moment. We're going to talk, and we're going to end the show here.
Okay.
All right. Care. And thank you so much. That was Justin. Gosh, he was great. Thank you so much for inviting him, Jenny.
Absolutely.
And we wanted to talk about June 24th, right?
Yes.
Let me put this up here.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Look at you.
There we go. So this is something I actually found out about on a friend of mine posted it on Facebook. I hadn't even heard about it until a couple of weeks ago, but there's sort of a ground level effort, I think, to start this day of action. I'm guessing we're going to probably be doing it every year until things get back to us having the freedoms and rights that we deserve. So this year they're saying on June 24th, which is the second anniversary of when Roe versus Wade was overturned, they're suggesting all girls, women, and allies go on strike. Basically, don't go to work, don't go to school, don't spend money, to point out that you can't cut us out of the economy. You can't cut us out of society. We're a very important part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're here and we're going to make a difference. So yeah. And as it says there at the bottom, as our privacy and body autonomy and healthcare and travel rights are being removed, we're going to remove ourselves and see how that feels. So the more people that find out about this, I think the more of a statement it'll make, the more, feathers it'll ruffle, and maybe can kind of move the needle back to where it needs to be. So again,
one of the few things that actually moves government is loss of money. So,
yeah. So it's actually organized, I think, by the Women's March, which has happened for a while now, I guess. But so if you go to their website, I probably should have put the website on there too. But if you if you just search on Women's Strike, you'll find their website because they're one of the main ones that are talking about it. But yeah, it'll be Monday. It's coming Monday, June 24th.
So sorry. And we also have a sponsor for the show for today's show. We'll put that up here. And you have actually used, I'm going to hide that for a moment. You've actually used it. So tell us a little bit about it, and then I'll put that back up.
Yeah. So Osreen Skincare, I've really only ordered 2 products. Well, one product in 2 different ways. They have what's called an Earthly Healer lotion. And it's what I've experienced is I had a little like a biopsy spot that they did at the dermatologist's office. And so it was trying to heal basically from where they did the biopsy. And within 2 or 3, it had been at least a week, and it was still, kind of a scab type of situation, dark and didn't look great. I started to put that lotion on it, and within a couple of days, scab had fallen off. It felt good, smooth, nice. And I was like, wow, that was pretty quick, because I had expected it to heal up on its own quicker than that, but it wasn't healing up on its own. So with that lotion, it really seemed to speed up the healing process. And then I also used it for Jason. He's a chef, so he gets burns on his arms from the ovens and things like that. So we put some on one arm just to kind of check it first. And it definitely made a difference. Again, just within a couple of days, it made a difference in some of the burn marks on his arms. So we do have a kind of an affiliate program set up with them. It's a locally owned and locally made actually product. They have other products as well, but that's the one I've tried so far. But if you go to their website at Osreen Skincare, it's AUSRINE skincare.com/unleashedafpod. And then you can use the discount code unleashedafpod when you go to check out. You'll get 10% off. So it's a great skincare line. It's completely natural. We hate to use things that are, kind of over the counter because there's so many preservatives and chemicals that aren't great for our bodies, but this is completely natural and doesn't have the sulfates and the parabens and all those other things that they found are starting to cause issues. So I think it's a great product. We're going to continue to use it, and I'll even try out some other ones.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And so remember June 24th. And next week we have CJ Scarlett's going to be joining us. She's met the Dalai Lama, and she's going to share with us her coming out story. And she came out much later in life as well. And if you've enjoyed today's podcast, please tell your friends. And if you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for us, go to our website at unleashedafpodcast.com. Check out the section WWJDD. What would Jenny and Deidre do? Or if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, or if you know somebody who should be a guest on our podcast, please fill out the guest application or send it to your friend. This has been Deidre Beecham, Visibility Catalyst, and my friend Jenny Badig,
Interspace engineer. Sorry, I thought you were going to say it.
I should have. But thank you
right.
so much, and we'll welcome you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.